In today's video, I'm going to be taking you through this content system that you can see on screen. We're going to set it up, go through each step, get it set up so you can use it for yourself. I'm going to take you through the Airtable database, show you how to use it. So you can put it to test, use it for yourself, grow your social media platforms with just a few clicks. So let's get straight into it. As always, you can get the templates from the description below so you can follow along with this. First of all, I'm just going to show you a little demonstration on how this works and give you a really brief breakdown before we go into it in more detail later. So how this works is we're scraping news articles related to our niche or any related news from the web via Perplexity or Tavily. So that's this green section here. We're then ranking that content to our niche. So if it's suitable to our niche, then we're going to give it a higher score, and then we're just going to update Airtable. Then we've got a simple content engine that's going to be creating the copy for our posts. Then we're going to be using a few different APIs here to create carousel posts, reel posts, and also image posts. Then we're going to be moving over to this posting section where we're going to be using a tool called Blotato. You might have heard me talk about it a few times before. What it is it just allows you to easily post to any social media platform of your choice really easily via their API. And then we're also going to be setting up just a really simple analytics scraper so we can keep track of how well our posts are doing. So before I show you the actual Airtable database, this content system was designed for Instagram. It can easily be changed to whatever platform of your choosing, but when I first designed it for myself and for clients, it was tailored for Instagram. So you can see here that we have a carousel video and an image post all ready to go for Instagram, but I'll show you how to add different platforms into this later. But let me just take you around the Airtable database. So when you download the template, you'll see this. This data might not be here, but if it isn't, don't worry. This is where we get all of our daily news. So every day, this will be updated with new news articles. You can see we have the article title, the copy, the source URL, the score. So this is what rank we've given it compared to our niche. So you can see here the higher ranked ones are probably the ones that we're going to pick to repurpose. Then we can just click create a post. Then once we've clicked create a post, our posts will be generated within this content tab here. So you can see posts in here. How I've got this system set up, the image one prompt, so the first image prompt is automatically generated. With this prompt, we can create a single image or we can create a carousel. So either of those can be created off of that first image prompt. And then if we want to create a reel about this post, we just have to type in a video prompt and then hit this video button here. Then we have this section here. Obviously, it's only got Instagram because, like I mentioned, this is just designed for Instagram. Then we have the post type, so image, carousel, video. Pretty straightforward. But yeah, let me turn this on and we will create, and I'll show you how this works. So we see an article that we like, we want to repurpose it. For the purpose of this video, I will just choose this one. If all of these are on, which they are, that workflow, N8N workflow, will be creating our post. Another tab in this Airtable database is the analytics tab. So this is just going to be for the purpose of when we get to creating the interfaces later. This is where all the data is going to be getting pulled from here. So while that content is generating, like I mentioned, this is designed for Instagram, but you can easily swap to or add different social media platforms into this. The automations, we'll go through that, how you can get that all set up in a second. So let's just see what this is doing here. So it has succeeded. You can see that here, and we'll go back to our data and we will see that we have a new post. So you can see this is the layout. We've got all of the hashtags all ready to go. Again, you can come in here and change this. Doesn't need to be posted straight away. Like, I would always advise just to double check the AI generated content before you post. But let's have a look at the image prompt. Cool. Let me just double check something here. Perfect. Cool. Yeah, so that is the post that just popped up. Sorry, just because there's other things in here, I was just making sure that it actually came through. So we'll double check the image prompt. Cool. Pretty simple. We'll click image 1 for now, and we will let that generate. So while that's generating, I'm going to show you how to get this set up for yourself. So that's the run that we've just sent through with the image. So when you get this template into your N8N, it's really, really simple. You want to come to these webhooks and then delete them and add a new one. And then once you've done that, you then want to come back to automations here, and all of these actions and automations that you see are all linked up to the webhook. So let me just double check that image and then we'll go through it and I'll actually show you how to set that all up. So cool, boom, image is there, pretty cool. What we'll do now is we'll just create a carousel and then we'll wait for that to generate. So yeah, if I was going to set this up again for myself, this system here, well, this webhook here, what I would do is I would just delete it, add a new one, grab my test URL, come back to automations, and you can see that the create post action is here. All you want to do is come to this run script section and just copy and paste that new webhook in there, if that makes sense. So once you've done that, I'll just show you right now how this is going to work. So let's just quickly double check that has generated before I go ahead and turn this off to show you. Cool, so our carousel post has been generated, as you can see. Pretty cool stuff. We'll create a video in a second, but let's just carry on with this, getting this set up. So again, get this template in here, create new webhooks. The content engine webhook, we've just done that. So we've come back to here. You can see in the daily create post section, we've just added our webhook in this run script section here. Make sure this is inactive, the actual workflow, just for this part, just because we're actually just testing. Then we're going to execute it from webhook. So that's now waiting for a trigger, we're just going to come back to the create post action, and we are going to hit test action. Boom, you can see that has come through there. Perfect. And then all we're going to do is just link it up here. That is pretty much what we're going to do. We're going to rinse and repeat that same process for all of the webhooks. So for the content engine webhook, that is that sorted. For the media webhook, that is actually going to be all of these actions here. Let me just move that apart from the publish one. So these top ones are all going to have the same webhook. So let me just show you that now. I'm just going to delete this. I'm going to add a new webhook. I'm going to grab that test URL. We're going to link it back up here. Actually, we're not going to link it for now. All we're going to do is just grab the test URL, and then we're going to come back to create image 1, and we're just going to copy and paste that in there. We're going to come back here, execute workflow from the first trigger, and then just test that action just like that. Boom, you can see workflow executed successfully. Then what we want to do is we'll just hit execute workflow again, and we'll go to the create video webhook, and we'll do exactly the same thing. We'll just paste our new webhook URL in there, and we'll just hit test action. Boom, came through again. And then for the last one, we're just going to hit execute workflow, come back to the Airtable automations, and then to the create carousel action, and just update that there, and we'll hit test. Perfect. So all those three are now set up to that media webhook. The last one is the publish webhook. So exactly the same process, which I will show you again. Make our webhook. Where's it gone? It's gone over here. Copy that test URL. Come back to the publish content action. Add our new webhook URL. Execute from webhook 2. And just before we do that, we're going to have to come back to here. We'll just approve a bit of content. So once you've got this approved, you can then come in here and actually schedule your post by selecting the post date. For this example, I'm going to put the post date in the past just so it can trigger this. Okay, so that will be because we haven't selected our platform. So obviously our platform's Instagram. We're going to post a carousel image. And there it is. It pops up, and we are just going to make sure that's running and test the action there. Cool. Boom. There it is. So that is how you set up the webhooks within the actual N8N template, connecting that up to the Airtable database. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is when you get this template, you will need to actually duplicate it. So in the past, when I've been sharing templates, I've noticed that the automations weren't actually there, but I've managed to fix that now. So the link that you get when you click on this, you won't be able to actually do anything to this initial template you see here. You actually have to duplicate the base out, and then that way you can keep all of the automations, and you'll be able to see all of these, and then you can just go through and repeat that webhook process that we just did. Cool. So that's the webhooks done. Now, to set up the actual daily news section, what you need to do is go to Tavily and grab your API key, and then also Perplexity. And I'll leave the links to Tavily and also Perplexity in the description below. You can just go in, create your account, get your API keys easily, and then come back to the template. Just click create new credential and drop your API key in there for Tavily. And then also for Perplexity, create new credential and drop your API key in there. So really simple to do. Then moving on to the media section. Also, before I forget, just make sure that you've got all these Airtable modules, because there's quite a few of them. Just go through and just connect it to your base, and make sure that's connected. Then once you've done that, again, like there's quite a few Airtable modules in this template, so just make sure you go through and get all those done one by one. Then moving on to the media section, we're actually using a tool called Key or Kai AI. I've used it on this channel in the past before, but if you haven't seen it, really easy to use. Again, you're not really going to need to do much here. You just want to create a new credential once you've gone over to Kai or Key API AI and got your API key. So once you've made the account, you'll come to API key here, like you can see in the left, and you can just grab your API key, click on these HTTP request modules. So all of these modules here, you want to click on them. You want to create a new credential, name it authorization, and then in value, you just want to type in bearer. So I'll show you here, bearer space, and then copy and paste your API key in there. So authorization, bearer, space, and then just paste your API key in there. So hit save once you've done that, really simple, and you'll have your Kai AI account set up. I will mention that you probably have to deposit like $5 just to get this up and running, but from there it's actually reasonably priced. I've been playing around with these content systems for a long time now, and rarely you find yourself redepositing. But yeah, get that set up. Again, go through all these HTTP modules here and add in your Kai AI API key. Then moving on, we've actually now going to the posting section. So before moving on, just come through here again and make sure you've got everything linked up. So your Tavily API key, your Perplexity API key, all the Airtable modules set to your new base, the webhooks like we did previously, the Kai API key in all of these HTTP request modules. Once you've got that done, then we'll come back over to this posting section. Again, this is really simple. All we're going to need to do here is just get your Blotato API key. So head over to Blotato and let me go to settings and I'll show you. Okay, bear with me a second while I log in. Cool, so I'm now inside my Blotato account. All you need to do is come to the settings section here, click on API, and then just hit copy API key. Once you've done that, come back to the template, create your new credential, just drop your API key in there. Really simple. Then just go through all of these modules and just make sure you're connected with your new API. Really, really simple to set up. Then to the last section, the analytics section. Here, what we're going to do is sign up for Apify. And Apify is basically then going to scrape our account, in this case, our own Instagram account, and update Airtable with the new likes, the new comments, the new reposts, the new shares, all that good stuff. So really simple. Again, go to Apify. I'll show you. And then when you're in Apify, come to settings, API and integrations, and just copy your API key. If you don't have one, just create a new API key there. Come back to the template, come into Apify Scraper, and or actually come into this key here and replace this API key with your one. Cool. Link that up, make sure everything's connected, and we're pretty much set up and good to go. Really, really simple to set up. Just follow the steps that I showed you. Start with the webhooks, then go Tavily, Perplexity, make sure your Airtable's linked up. The HTTP request modules with the Kai AI API stuff, then the Blotato, then the Apify. Again, everything will be in the description below. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to drop in a spreadsheet of all my content generation prompts. So all the prompts that I've been using to generate content, you can just play around with them and see what you can come up with. So that's the system set up. One thing actually is going to be when you activate this scenario, what you're going to want to do is actually come back to these webhooks, click on production URL, and then just repeat the process we did earlier. So come back here. So this content engine webhook, we're just going to grab it, come to create a post, and just drop in our new webhook here. Click update. Cool. Make sure, and then turn our action on if it's not already on. And then again, the same for the media one. We want to link it up. Click on it, production URL, come back here. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to copy and paste in these first three. Update. Update. And then the last webhook, the posting webhook, we're going to link it up, get our production URL, come back, copy and paste our webhook in there, update it, make sure everything's on, and you're good to go and to play around and to test this system out. Pretty cool stuff. Again, everything's going to be in the description for you. So the Airtable database, the N8N workflow, the content prompt guide, and the prompt ebook, and then also all the links to Kai AI, Tavily, Perplexity, Apify, and all that good stuff. So have fun playing around with this. Let me know what you come up with. I've got some really cool templates coming out soon, so stay tuned for that, and make sure you hit the subscribe button. So thank you for watching and have a great day.